Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Premier League Blitz podcast. I'm Elliot Ward, a Leeds United fan.
I'm Callum, right? I'm a Liverpool fan.
And today we'll be starting by talking about the gameweek 31 fixtures, which was 2 weeks ago, thanks to the Carabao Cup final and the FA Cup. And then we had the international break as well. So at the start, we'll get into Bournemouth 2, Manchester United 2.
Much better than talking about the international break.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it wasn't brilliant, were we, at all?
It was an awful watch, the two games. I'm surprised I sat through them.
I know. I watched the Japan game and it was horrible. It was genuinely like watching Arsenal. But without the goal for it.
I'd say that's a compliment to Arsenal. I mean, like, Arsenal don't have an attack. They can't score. But then you've got England. I know Harry Kane was injured, but you've got Harry Kane, you've got Rashford, you've got, I would say Saka, but he's an Arsenal attacker. But you've got, like, an actual attack. You've got Palmer, you've got Rodgers, Bellingham. They're not creating. And you've got a whole country, like, hyping us up to actually do something this World Cup. We got the betting odds where we're the third most likely team to go all the way. Somehow we're more likely winners of the World Cup than Argentina. I can't understand that. If Argentina just fell off that hard.
No, neither. But anyway, that's in the past. We'll get on to last week. As we said, we've got Bournemouth 2, Manchester United 2, with Harry Maguire getting sent off. That was the controversial bit. What's your feelings on that one?
Well, I'm a Liverpool fan. I love to see United in the trenches because we've certainly been in the trenches this season. It's nice to see them back where they belong. But I don't know. I mean, who was the Bournemouth player who did the same thing? Was it Christie? It's been a bit. I don't remember.
I can't remember. It's been a while, mate. But it was exactly the same thing. So it's just inconsistency again.
It's like the refs are consistently inconsistent. I don't get it.
I know. Yeah, it is. And then moving on, we've got Brighton 2, Liverpool 1.
Why are you doing this to me, man? Oh, God. I went into that game thinking, right, maybe this could be like a smash and grab. But then 4 minutes in, James Milner, the guy I'm like buzzing to watch because obviously, I mean, you've got connections to both of us here. But I'm buzzing to watch Milner because he's just got the all-time appearance record. 4 minutes in, he injures Ekatike, and I'm like, oh, God. It's like, he's going to be one of those games where we just don't do anything. We get the Kirkes goal. I think it was 1-1 at the Kirkes goal. Kirkes goal was brilliant. I don't know what on earth Lewis Dunk was doing. Like, he completely caught off. Milos Kirkes, I think he's one of the most underrated players. And like, if he didn't have that horrific start, people would be raving about him, or if he was in a United shirt. But I think he's. I feel like we let him down because like it's kind of a. I'm dragging it a bit here, sorry, but like, I feel like we've let him down.
I think again, it were. Yeah, it was brilliant last season for Bournemouth, but a player who stood out to me, obviously, with Danny Welbeck, scored 2 goals, and I think he's been brilliant this season. And if he wasn't in the Tuchel squad just gone, I feel it's a bit harsh, and I think he could probably go to the World Cup and maybe do a better job than DCL and Ollie Watkins, to be honest, mate.
And Ollie Watkins, I think Ollie Watkins a couple of years ago was like he was banging, but I think he's lost his pace. He doesn't look as threatening as he used to be. I think he's nowhere near as prolific as he used to be. And Villa, we've got Tammy Abraham challenging for his spot. He's been in Turkey last, wasn't he? So I don't know. I think Ivan Toney's a better player than him as well. So it should be Welbeck or Toney back up Kane. But regardless, none of them are going to get into the team. Like
exactly. And then Fulham 3, Burnley 1, expected.
I expected Burnley to lose, but I'm kind of impressed by Burnley because if I remember, it was a bit of a smash and grab, and Fulham, like, you'd expect Fulham to be much better than they were. It's like they've kind of established themselves as like a Premier League regular now since they got promoted in 2022, I think it was, 22 or 21. I feel like you expect them to deal with a team like Burnley, like especially since Fulham are a defensive team, but they didn't look good. They didn't look good at all.
And then Everton 3, Chelsea 0. A big surprise, but is it a surprise? I think Chelsea are very, very weak defensively.
Chelsea need to go sign like an experienced centre half. I mean, Rudiger's on a free apparently this summer. I'm sure his contract's with Madrid. Honestly, they should go re-sign him because their defence looks so inexperienced and prone to mistakes. They're praised for their fullbacks because Cucurella and Reece James are both solid, but their centre halves, like I'd say, arguably their best centre half, probably Wesley Fofana, who he doesn't look good at all. They need to go get an experienced centre half to back up the young centre halves they have because Colwell and Achimpong, but they're both going to be solid centre halves. But right now they haven't got that like first name on the team sheet centre half. Like honestly, you can make about 3 different starting 11s with their centre halves.
And then we've got Leeds 0, Brentford 0. I were there, and for me as a Leeds fan, I think it's a brilliant result. Obviously, Brentford are doing really well this season, which I didn't expect at the start of the season under Keith Andrews. I think Thomas Frank was a massive miss, but turns out maybe he wasn't. And then Igor Thiago's banging him in as well. But I think it's a good point. But I think we came out in that second half defensively and we didn't go for it. And I think at home under the lights, we have to go for it because these are the points that matters to us.
I honestly, this isn't anything against Leeds, but I expected Brentford to win that game. To be honest, I think they're the team that's really impressed me this season. I mean, they're playing very similar sort of football, like smash and grab, well up to the big man football, like Arsenal. But I think that's what you'd expect that team to play. You've got a set piece coach as a manager. Yeah, the whole league predicting him to go down. I think he's done a brilliant job with that team. I mean, Charlie will know this because he goes to uni with me, but I don't shut up about Coyote. I think he's brilliant. Like, I'm really surprised you managed to keep him quiet, to be honest. I mean, from what I've heard, it wasn't the best game, but I'm surprised you kept Brentford quiet.
Yeah, we did really well. We're really good defensively, I think. And then we've got Newcastle 1, Sunderland 2. Brian Robbie with the late goal. I think it's absolutely brilliant. And I don't mind Newcastle and I don't mind Sunderland, but I think for Sunderland to come up and do this well, I think it's excellent.
I watched that game. I loved it because I think the Newcastle goal, it was hilarious. What was a mistake at the back from Sunderland? It was
yeah.
Oh my god, that was awful. But to come back from that, was it a double from Robbie or was it Talby who scored the other?
No, it was Talby. Talby was the first one. Yeah.
I rate Talby. I think he's a good up and coming player. I think he'll be a solid Prem winger. But Robbie, I was confused when he signed him at first because he was off a little bit at Ajax in his last season, but he looks like a decent player. I thought Isidore would bench him, but he's I
think he suits the Premier League really well. I think he's really strong, which is massive as well. Playing against defenders, because I know you have your Van Dijks, your big lads at the back who you need to be strong against. I think Robbie is that. And I do think he's a really good signing, but I think they've signed really well. You know, you've got Granit Xhaka and then Siddiqui in the midfield, who's fantastic. I can see him at Chelsea, so Chelsea.
I think when Sunderland come up, I thought they've got good players. Like I looked at some of the players they had and I thought they might struggle, but they might scrape it. But then they had that window where it's kind of like they signed everyone. The only worry I had is their abundance of African players with the AFCON coming up. I think they did very well during that period to get the points that they did, because I know they dropped off a bit. But to keep an unbeaten run at home at the stadium like for so long when you're a promoted team that haven't been in the Premier League for like nearly a decade is amazing. And to do the double against your rivals, who are the richest club in the world, it's a masterpiece. I think regular Bruce needs to get his flowers. I think he's been a brilliant manager. I think he's done a brilliant job.
Yeah. And then the final 2 games of that weekend was Aston Villa 2, West Ham 0, and Spurs 0, Forest 3. 2 big games at bottom of the table. West Ham losing, Tottenham losing, and then Forest managing to pick 3 points up.
I think the Forest game was definitely the talking point because Spurs had that good performance against Atletico in the week. I think they looked like a different team. They looked like a team reborn under Tudor. A lot of Spurs fans I have some in my family. Some of them were like hyping up, thinking, "Oh, we're back. We're actually going to survive. We're going to scrape it." Just to go and lose 3-0 to another absolute shocker of a team this season. It's unheard of.
Yeah, there's no grit from Tottenham in my opinion. And when I watch him, not just because I'm a Leeds fan, but I watch Archie Gray and he should be the captain. I know he's young and whatever, but he sets the tone. He's brilliant every week, and they just don't care. They just don't care because they'll get the moves. They won't come down with them in Championship. There'll only be a handful. So I do think Tottenham could be very, very dangerously in trouble. And the lucky Nottingham Forest's fixtures, as they are horrible.
Oh, God, yeah. I couldn't tell you out of West Ham, Spurs and Forest who's going to go down. All I can tell you is whoever it is going to get absolutely raided in the summer. If I were to put my money on it, I'd say West Ham because they have the weakest team out of the 3. But
yeah, And I think that when we played them in the FA Cup as well, obviously the weekend just gone, I think they were terrible for 90 minutes and then they came alive in extra time. But we had them all over. Every minute of that game we were better than them.
Yeah.
And I think obviously they just did really well to get back into it and then were unlucky on penalties because they probably should have won it from there, to be honest.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'll let you.
Right. Moving on to this week anyway, so we'll get some predictions going, what we think will happen. And yes, just give our opinions on stuff. So on Friday, we've got West Ham versus Wolves, which is, it's a big game for West Ham. I think Wolves will probably drop anyway. They are quite far off it. Yeah. But I do think it'll be a draw this game. I think Wolves have been brilliant recently. I think they've got some sort of second wind. Well, first wind probably. But yeah, and I think it'll end up a draw.
Honestly, I feel this might be because I rate Rob Edwards. I think it might be a bit of a smash and grab for Wolves because I'm liking some of their players. I'm a massive fan of Matthias Mane. It might just be because his name's Mane and I want to see another really good Mane in the Premier League. But I think he's got something special about him. I just have a feeling that Wolves team might be able to scrape like a 2-1, maybe like a last minute goal or something.
Yeah, no. To be honest, it's not out of the realms of possibility. I think if I were going to back a team to win, I think I would probably back Wolves, but I've gone with a draw. But I see your point 100%.
What I would add with sorry to interrupt. What I would add with Wolves is obviously Liverpool lost to them a while ago. I feel like if you go in underestimating any Premier League team, you're going to be in for a shot. Like the whole league is a bit all over the place this year. Every team's looked poor and amazing at the same time. Like no team's been able to string wins together. Wolves obviously didn't get a win until January, but because everyone underestimates them, it's kind of like a why not for every single game for them.
Yeah, definitely. And then starting off Saturday, we've got Arsenal-Bournemouth. Again, in my opinion, I think it's an Arsenal win. And I think it's to do with revenge. Because obviously this week against Southampton and then last week against Manchester City, they need a title. And the Champions League, I don't think they'll get that at all. I don't think they're good enough. And I think with them being, is it 7 points clear at the minute?
There or thereabouts, yeah.
Is it 7? I think it's 7. Yeah, I think it's a long way for Manchester City to catch them.
I don't see City losing again this season, which might come back to bite me because we're recording this. But obviously I watched them play us. It just looked untouchable completely. I know my problem with that game is that Liverpool just completely gave up and looked a bit lost. But Man City in general looked brilliant. The attacks, Semenyo, Gahey, not Semenyo, Gahey. Oh my God, I'm thinking of some assignments. Semenyo, Cherky, and Haaland. You're not stopping that. I know Haaland's been on a bit of a goal drought this year, but you're not stopping that attack. Their defence looks much better, even though Pep seems to be kind of throwing everything into the attack at the moment. But I think if Arsenal slip, City will capitalise. I can't see Arsenal winning every single game.
Well, it's happened before, hasn't it? So, we never know, but...
Tell me about it.
I think they've got to get Arsenal up for it somehow, some way. They've got to get up for it and win as many games as they can. Yeah. Whereas I agree with Manchester City. I don't think they do lose. I think they're too good. Brilliant. But we'll see.
I agree with you. I do think Arsenal will win that game. I think it'll be a convincing win because Bournemouth can't string wins together at all at the moment.
And then we've got Brentford-Everton, which is a very interesting game, to be honest, because obviously I think, is it 7th and 8th or 8th and 9th? They are in the table, so it'll be... it's at Brentford as well, but I think Everton have been brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and David Moyes has been brilliant, and West Ham need to hang the Reds in shame, letting him go after what he did as well, and he's gone to Everton and he's done this. I think he's been absolutely incredible, and players like Ndiaye, your Jack Grealish, but he's out for the season, Dewsbury all coming back, and I think Tierno Barry is a decent player. And I do think they will get Europe, but I think this game could end in a draw.
It's a hard one for me to predict without sounding like a biased Liverpool fan, but I don't see Everton winning this one because I think Brentford are a much better team. I think out of the two of them, I think Brentford will get the Conference League spot unless say Villa win the Europa League and we get an extra spot. I think then Brentford will get the Europa and Everton will get the Conference League. But I think Brentford are the better team. They have more quality. I agree with you mostly on your points, except for Tiano Barry, because he whenever I watch him, he just looks like lethargic. He looks like he's kind of half-arsing it a little bit. He doesn't. I think he's Premier League quality. I think he will be a good striker, but I don't think he's ready. And then you got Beto, who's like the most inconsistent striker in the league. I think Everton need to strengthen in that striker spot for them to like really be challenging for those top European spots. I think they might scrape Conference League, but I think if they did, they'd kind of be in like a Forest situation where they can't balance being in Europe and being in the Premier League at the same time, because the demand is ridiculous for a team that has little to no depth at all.
Yeah, and I think they probably do need to get European football to keep your Iliman and Die, because if you lose him, then it's similar to Brentford. If you lose Igor Thiago, I know they seem to find players out of nowhere and keep rebuilding, but if you lose these type of players, you could be falling down like Forest. If they didn't have Elliot Anderson and Morgan Gibbs-White this season,
they would have gone down.
They'd have been gone 100%.
Yeah.
So next we've got Burnley, Brighton. I think Brighton win.
They have nothing game left.
Burnley have won one game in last, is it 21 games? Something ridiculous. They started all right, but then they just fell away, and I think they'll finish bottom, to be honest. I think Wolves will overtake them.
I agree with you completely. And I'm probably the biggest hater towards Scott Parker. I've never rated him as a manager. I think look at the Fulham team he got relegated with. Look at that team. Half of them are like the top teams. Like Anthony Robertson, Ademola Lookman, Mitrovic. Like, what was he doing with that team? That Ariola in goal, and he looked hopeless. I remember him with Bournemouth. His last game was a 9-0 defeat to Liverpool, and after the game, he just said, "Oh, this team isn't good enough to stay in the league." Immediately got sacked. And then Gary O'Neill, who had like little to no experience at the time, got him 15th at the end of the season. It's like you made a complete idiot out of yourself there. And I don't know how he keeps getting jobs. He got sacked after 3 weeks in Belgium. I think if he wasn't, sorry, Paul.
He's brilliant for a championship.
Oh yeah,
that's it. He can't make the jump. I think a lot of Leeds fans at start of season would say they're similar to Farker, but he's proved that he probably can make the jump. But as Scott Parker, he's had so many chances. I think he's just not good enough whatsoever to keep up.
Got a mate who's a Norwich fan who has very mixed opinions on Farker. You know, for someone who managed a club for 5 years and got you in the Prem multiple times. It was like in the Championship, Farker was brilliant, but in the Premier League, he was like iffy. I think this season, like the big criticism towards Farker, and obviously in his late days at Norwich, is that he wouldn't adapt. He wouldn't change his football that much. Mid-year, it was looking like he was going to get sacked and replaced with like someone in the Red Bull area. Like maybe, I don't know who Leipzig's manager is, someone like that. But he's completely changed his like style of play completely to what suits Leeds. Like that team, that obviously Leeds football isn't the prettiest, but it's what you've got to do to stay in the league. Like, I don't get why anyone's criticising Leeds. You're doing the best you can. You, not to sound rude, but you're very much overachieving with the squad you have. That's what I'm saying. If you can keep playing that football, keep you in the league, the Red Bull money's going to come in, and you'll end up getting higher in the league.
Yeah, and I think we're a team which hasn't got the most amount of quality, but I think it's just the exact opposite to Tottenham. We've got determination and passion, and then you get stuck in, and then your defenders, which we play 4-5 at back with overlapping fullbacks,
more of a free back with like wing backs.
Yeah, and then it's just defensively, and that's how we play, to stay up and then become established. And then once we're established, then do you know what I mean? Like your Bournemouths, like your Brentfords, they've come up from Championship no less than 10 years ago, Brighton, and have done brilliantly. That's what you need to aim for, to be like that.
I think we're about to see a big shift in teams in the league, because this season's like there's loads that you said could have gone down. I mean, Fulham were down there and about for a bit. Like I said earlier, shocked because obviously they've shown how solid they can be in these last few seasons. I think they've been a bit off since I think they lost when they lost Mitrovic. I'd say they haven't been like the same, but never really properly replaced him. And as good as Jimenez is, he's never been the same since that injury he got against Arsenal a couple of years ago. I think.
Speaking about Fulham, next we've got Liverpool versus Fulham, and I do think it's a tough game, but I do think you have the quality to beat them. And I think Fulham were good at the start of the season, came back down in the middle of the season, and now just completely just in the middle of the pack like every other season for Fulham. And I do think there's nothing really much to play for. So I think for you guys, I think I think you will get the win.
If it wasn't Anfield, I'd say we'd lose, but it's an Anfield, so I think it'll be scrappy. There's no way we'll keep a clean sheet. As good as Mamadas really was against PSG last night, he's not got the confidence, obviously. He's probably that stat looming over his head that he hasn't won a game in goal for Liverpool yet. Like, honestly, I feel awful for him because every time Alisson's got injured, it's like right before like a horrible game. Like for a keeper who plays a very different role to what Liverpool want in a keeper, who's definitely going to need that time to adapt. So I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet, but I could see it being like a 2 or 3-1 to Liverpool, purely off it being the Anfield crowd. I'm betting on Harry Wilson scoring though, because we had him for years, did nothing with him because he couldn't get anywhere near Mo Salah, and obviously now he's being linked with us again.
It's dangerous, isn't he? And he got like 17 or 18 goals and assists this season. It's ridiculous, and obviously they are going to lose him on a free this year, so that'll be interesting to see where he goes.
Someone in the big six, I could see him, or maybe see him like a Newcastle or something, but Newcastle seem to keep signing right wingers just to go back to Murphy. I can see that happening again.
Yeah. But Jacob Murphy has been brilliant, to be fair, these last few years. So even if you do sign the wingers, because Alanga's been rubbish since he's come in, really. I mean, he's had the bright sparks, his pace is brilliant, but other than that, he's not a really fantastic player.
He had the brace against Barcelona, but that's not really a game to talk about.
No, they did concede 7 as well. So
7-2, I remember that scoreline.
And then on the Sunday, we've got Palace versus Newcastle. And I think Newcastle win. I think Palace are dreadful. And I don't think they look like scoring goals either at all.
It's weird. Like Palace, the start of the season, I'm thinking like they could get Europe. They look good. Ollie Glasner, as long as he doesn't lose it, we're fine. He's lost it. It's just the exact thing that happened at Frankfurt and Wolfsburg again. It's like you just know he wants to go back to Germany. You just know he's not really interested in the project. I think Parish, is that the guy who runs the club at Palace?
Yes.
He's got no ambition at all. I mean,
Steve Parish.
Yeah, Steve Parish. Go back to Gahey last summer. Liverpool bid for him. The reason why that didn't go through is because he wasn't interested in signing another centre half. He was in Soho. He was at a fitness session in Soho on deadline day. What are you doing? You're running a football club that's like won the first trophy in God knows how long, and you're in New York at a fitness site. I think the club have no ambition. I feel like they're going to struggle next year, especially since I can't see them keeping players like Munoz and Adam Wharton. And obviously, Kamada's already confirmed he's following Glasner out, just like he did at Frankfurt. It's like Palace. If I were a Palace fan, I'd be terrified. I'd be like, could go down, honestly.
You would, and to be honest, I don't see much of Palace, but I'd wonder if their fans, if there's any Palace fans watching, I'd wonder if their fans do blame the board, because obviously Glasner's come out and said he didn't want Gay to go. Obviously, you've got Eze as well. He didn't want him to go. Because if you keep selling players, I know it's selling for a profit and for financial fair play, but you're never going to be a top team if you keep selling these best players. Because they had Elise, Eze, Gay, and then Mateta. Obviously, he's gone down now because he wanted to leave. He doesn't want to be there. And they've kept him there. But yeah, it's a weird one. So if there is any Palace fans watching, then let us know.
I can't completely blame the board because I understand that a team like Palace, and no offense to Palace, they're not like there isn't many kids in Brazil saying I want to go play for Crystal Palace. And it's very hard to keep the players like the Matetas, the Gaheys, who you like, especially in the case of Gahey, who's like a nailed on starter for England no matter what. Like him and Konza have to be our centre back pairing for the World Cup. I don't think there's any others who are even close to him. Maybe Maguire, but he's inconsistent, as good as he's been under Carrick. But the problem is their investment, their replacements are awful. I mean, was it Canbar or something? They signed someone from Toulouse.
Like
It's not a bad player, but you're replacing Mark Gahey with a backup from Toulouse, a guy who's back up to your old centre-back Cresswell. It's like, you can't do that.
Yeah, I know. Right, so next we got Forest Villa, and I do think Villa take the win here. I mean, I think in my head Villa do, but I think Forest, they can pull out a result against any team, can Forest, because they've got the players to do it. But I think with Villa fighting for top 4, I think they need to get the win.
This might be wishful thinking for me because I think Liverpool can get a result against Fulham, but I've got a feeling Forest might do it because Villa. I mean, you can't predict Villa. I mean, are they still without Tielemans?
Yes.
So they're without Tielemans, or without Boubacar Kamara for the rest of the season. Like without players like that, they look like clueless. Like I don't remember a game when they really won the midfield battle. They keep losing games. They keep dropping in important games. They're a very hard team to predict because they've got a lot of quality. I mean, Morgan Rogers, I can say, like almost walk into any team. No, I don't think there's many teams in England he doesn't walk into. Maybe Man City, I'd say he doesn't, but he's definitely like on like the level for the camp spot. But I don't know. I think it could be like scrappy, maybe a draw, maybe something like 2-2.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Nottingham Forest look better. I mean, they just beat Spurs 3-0. I know beating Spurs isn't really a brag anymore, but like, he's still.
I think it's much for you wishful thinking that Villa will lose. It's wishful thinking for me as well that Forest do lose. So let's hope.
Let's hope.
At least one of us might be happy. Then they'll draw.
If we get a draw, then we're both happy.
Yeah. And then next up, Sunderland Spurs. I think Sunderland win this one at home. I think Spurs haven't got much about them at the minute, and I do think obviously Sunderland coming off that Newcastle win, I think they'll be in high hopes, and I do think they'll win this one.
I don't think many teams go to the Stadium of Light and actually get a win there, but
we were close.
You were close. You nearly did it, but I don't know. It's a horrible place to go to. Like, you're never comfortable there for the whole game. You're like, they're so good here. I don't feel comfortable at all. And Spurs, they can't win at home. They can't win away. They're not going to beat a team with like an actual quality about them, especially since they have like multiple ex-Arsenal players who will want to humiliate Spurs even more. Yeah. And
then to end Sunday off, we've got Chelsea at Man City, which is a huge game for City. I think Chelsea will be. I think City need to win it to keep the pressure on Arsenal, and I think they will as well. I think Chelsea, as I said earlier in this episode, I think Chelsea's defensive worries are horrific, and I think Manchester City's attacking quality is incredible. So I think that's where they'll pick them apart, and I think Semenyo will have an absolute field day in this game.
I love Antoine Semenyo. I've liked him for years. I've said for years that he's going to be a top player. I remember I first watched him a couple of years ago and I just thought he looks way too good to be at Bournemouth, and the fact that he wasn't even in the starting 11 at the time, it was like, what on earth? But with Chelsea, I think they've shot themselves in the foot a little bit. With as much as I'm not the biggest fan of Enzo Fernandez, I think I think he's a bit too big for his boots. I know he's a World Cup winner, but like, you never justified the price tag, and then he goes and does what he does in international, like some of the idiot things I'm not going to say, but he's a bit of an idiot. I think obviously he shouldn't have said what he said about Madrid, and I think his agent's being a bit stupid, saying, "Oh, obviously he's just talking about living in Madrid. He's not talking about playing for him." Like, no, of course he's talking about playing for Real Madrid. It's Real Madrid. I understand why he wants to play for Madrid, because obviously South American culture very much focuses around Madrid and Barcelona. You're like one or the other, but it's unprofessional. But taking out arguably your best midfielder, especially when it comes to controlling the game, he's brilliant at that. Against a team where you need to control the midfield, or you're just going to get nothing out of the game. I think it'll be a hammering. I like Rafinha, but he's been showing up these past few weeks. Like I don't think he can control the egos at Chelsea. I think Enzo Fernandez being the biggest ego in the entire team, he can't control a player like that. So I don't disagree with suspending him, but taking him out of what is probably the hardest game left of Chelsea's season, you're setting yourself up to fail.
Yeah, and I think it's hard for Rafinha coming into such a big management role, because obviously we're at Holland and Strasbourg. Similar to Graham Potter when he came into Chelsea. Obviously, he'd been at Swansea and Brighton, and you've done really well with them teams. Liam Rafinha did really well with Hull when Leeds went Championship. They were a really good side, and he did well. And then as soon as he left, to finish 21st. So again, it clearly shows he's a good manager, but is he a good manager at Championship level? Maybe a lower league, Premier League team, similar to Graham Potter, and I don't know if he is ready for that big club jump.
I think he's Premier League ready. I think he's a very good manager. I like his football. I don't think he has the right players to play his style of play at Chelsea. I spoke about it a while ago with a friend. That he plays very similar football to what Pep was playing in the treble season, where his goalkeeper joins the defence. With Robert Sanchez, anytime he comes off the line, I think like, the entire Chelsea fan base has a heart attack. I mean, and it surprises me that they didn't recall Mike Penders. There's probably some dodgy financial thing in that we all have heard way too much about in these last few months with Chelsea. Oh my God. I mean, especially the Strasbourg fans, like some of the things they've been saying about Chelsea. Oh my God. So where was I? I think it's a combination of he hasn't got the right players and he's not the type of manager to be able to deal with an ego. I think there's too many egos in that Chelsea dressing room. You got obviously like Fernandes. I'd argue Caicedo has a massive ego. Even in defence, Wesley Fofana, I mentioned him earlier. For an average centre half, he's got a massive ego.
Yeah, and I think it's very rare to gain respect of a team as well when you haven't managed another top team. You aren't as experienced as he is. I think maybe the respect isn't there as it would be for a Ancelotti, a Zidane, or someone with quality and who was managed at this top level before. You'd have more respect. So maybe that plays a factor as well.
I mean, Ancelotti is like the perfect example. Istanbul. He's like the perfect example. He just stares at you and you're like, oh God, he's going to drop me. I don't want to mess with Ancelotti. You just, God, I'm sorry. Or Rafinha, he's coming out and saying stuff like, you take the English word for manager, man-ager, you're aging men. It's like, he doesn't know what he's on about, but he seems to be very good at shooting himself in the foot, making a bit of a ass out of himself.
And then finally, we've got the Monday, which is the War of the Roses, Manchester United versus Leeds United. And as a Leeds fan, I'm optimistic every game, but I'm not too sure on this one. I think we will probably lose, which is, I think he's been brilliant as Michael Carrick. As much as it hurts me to say, I wish he'd have kept hammering, but I think he's been brilliant when they've come in, and he's probably teaching them how to play for Manchester United instead of just going to wearing the shirt. And I do think they will beat us, but I don't think they'll beat us by loads. I think we're obviously really good defensively, but I think with Bruno Fernandes and obviously Mbeumo as well has been brilliant. Cunha, Sesko as well, who's come into his own in this last couple of months. I think they will beat us, but I don't think it will be a whitewash. I think it'll be just.
It might sound like the biased Liverpool fan. I still think United will win, but I feel like there's a shock coming for United because I think Goldbridge was talking about it a while ago. He's not really been challenged because of how weak the league is this season. I feel like any other season, this United team would have been blown away because you can't change your football so much and then just suddenly be flying. I think it shows the standard of the league. I rate Carrick. I think he's got potential, but I don't think he's the right choice. He's going to get the job, surely. But I just have a feeling next season, obviously being in the Champions League, with a team that's just not ready for Europe, not built for Europe, like as good as obviously Mbeumo, Bruno Fernandes and Sesko are, the team behind them, I don't think it's Europe ready. Obviously, they're losing Casemiro, who's been phenomenal this season. I feel like there's a massive shock coming for United fans who think that they're suddenly back. That they're not. They've got a long way to go. 1-1 or 2-1. It's a very hard game to predict. I mean, you're good against the big teams. Like you got 2 draws in a week against us. And last time you played him, I was in Leeds visiting a friend. Obviously, Amorim got sacked right after I got told to do a video on him.
No, yeah, I mean, I'd love to have a draw. I think we are going to be massively up for it. And I just think it's how it is on the day. You can predict these games, but you can't know these games. Like maybe when you've got Arsenal versus Burnley, you'll know. Arsenal, going to win. But these big derby games, they're difficult, and I think we will be up for it, but maybe that's just me being... I don't want to get ahead of myself. I do think we will end up on the losing side, but fingers crossed we get a result.
I'm praying for you. I want to laugh at United. It's been a while.
Same. A lot. And then, right, so have you got anything else you want to add to today?
Yeah. Not really. I don't really want to think about Liverpool right now.
No, neither. I've enjoyed my week in the last 2 weeks. England, no Leeds to worry about. And then we actually beat West Ham in a quarter-final, so we're in a semi-final now. Absolutely amazing week.
Big ups to you, honestly. Good on you for getting through the FA Cup.
Yeah.
I'm not jealous.
Well, now, but next season you'll be all right.
I think with some of the stuff that's come out recently, obviously, it's been widely reported that there is a managerial change coming. If it's obviously who we all want, Xabi. If it's Xabi, I think was set, because I watched a lot of Xabi's Leverkusen. I remember I said this after I think Frimpong's goal against Bayern, where he scored from the halfway line. I said, oh my God, if I can get him or Wirtz at Liverpool, yeah, you must have known I was bouncing when we signed them both. I was like, I think that they've both obviously not had the best introduction, but I think under the right manager, those two, there's not many players better than them. I think they're both quality. Obviously, sorry.
I'd agree, definitely. Yeah, I think if you get Xabi Alonso, I think he'd probably be a good fit as well. And I think knowing a few players as well, and maybe Wirtz, who, I think he's a brilliant player. I really do. And I know he got stick at start of season, but
rightfully,
I think he's a brilliant player. And if obviously he's been brilliant under Alonso, if he can get him going to that next level in the Premier League, I think it's a no-brainer.
I think we played a similar sort of formation last night to what Xabi will be playing. The only thing is, instead of playing a striker, he played no striker, two cams really deep. For some reason, he played Frimpong on the wing, Ekitike in the wing, and then he had Canate at right back. It was weird. He was trying to do the Xabi formation, but not all the way because he wants to prove he's still. I think Arne Slot's finished it. So unfortunate, because I still think I still say he's a club legend because he won us the league in the first season. I think he deserves a lot more respect than the fans are giving him. But you can't justify him staying in the job after spending 500 million and having a Roy Hodgson level season. It's just if it's true that Xabi Alonso wants a job, I'd welcome him with open arms. He's already a legend at the club. It'd stop him from going to Man City, which would absolutely ruin me. And I think he has the players for it. I think I've looked a bit at Jeremy Jocke. He seems to specialise in the central and the back three. One who goes up, does Joe Matip type runs, like a John Stones type run, that sort of centre half. I think we've got the players to play his football philosophy, and obviously I think there'll be an adaptation period because the squad just doesn't look up to match fitness at all. I think if Xabi can get us back to the Jurgen Klopp, on it, always running for the ball, you're not stopping to have a jog at any point in the game level football. I think Liverpool will be back up there. I think it'll be another transition to season for Liverpool next season. Don't think we'll win anything, but I think we'll be up and challenging the 27-28 probably. But yeah, for now, I think we're away from it for a bit.
It's worth the gamble. But anyway, thanks for coming on with me. It's been a very good chat, and hopefully some of the predictions do come true. Apart from the Leeds one, hopefully we'll win. But thanks for watching anyway. If you're watching on YouTube, then we've got it out on Spotify as well. If you're listening on Spotify, then come and check us out on YouTube. Thanks for watching, guys.